صدق الله العظيم المتوحد في الجلال بكمال الجمال تعظيما وتكبيرا، الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا، وبلغ رسوله الكريم الذي أرسلته إلى الثقلين الجن والإنس بشيرا ونذيرا، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيما توليت، وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت، وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم قنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت، فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك، وإنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت، تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. فلك الحمد يا الله على ما قضيت، ولك الشكر يا الله على ما أنعمت به وأوليت. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك، نستغفرك اللهم من كل ذنب وخطيئة، ونتوب إليك، ونؤمن بك ونتوكل عليك. أنت الغني ونحن الفقراء إليك، أنت القوي ونحن الضعفاء إليك. اللهم يا واصل المنقطعين أوصلنا إليك. اللهم هب لنا منك عملا صالحا يقربنا إليك. اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك.
The companion has a new Amir who is going to be the one directing today's program. And before the program would officially start, I want to formally introduce and present to you your new Amir, who is the person seated to my left, Al-Hajj Abdul Ghani Abdul Majid. So, I'm going to hand the microphone over to the Amir of the Companion Lagos District to direct today's program. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We thank Allah for His mercies. We thank Him for bringing us here today. We're starting a new era in the annals of companion history. My predecessor will always be around, that I'm sure. Inshallah. And don't worry, whatever my own shortcomings, he will fill in the gap. So let's quickly go to the program, and that's why we are having a unique program today. Is the inaugural joint Usrah of the new regime, and we are having something new too to add to it. It's a twin program. We have the joint Usrah lecture, and we equally have the distribution of Zakat of the companion. So we'll start with the lecture first. Okay. Like I said, It's a train program. We first of all finish the joint Usrah before we go to the Zakat distribution proper. So the Usrah will still follow the course, inshallah. So, and by God's grace, don't say we have done GBT. We did not do GBT. That why is it that it is the immediate past Amir that is coming to deliver the lecture? Is the way Allah chooses it to be. And so, the lecture title today is Dawah by other means, Zakat and Sadakah as a case study. The lecturer need no introduction in this gathering, and because of what we have at hand, I will simply introduce him as my immediate past Amir of the companion, my ex-official, my what I will not call, that is coming. His name is Imam Nojeem Jimoh. He will deliver the lecture today. Bismillah.
Daddy NG.
Alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. إخوان وأخوات في الله، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The title of our talk, as already announced, is Zakat and Sadaqah, Dawah through Zakat and Sadaqah. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Buniya al-Islam ala khams, shahadati an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh wa iqami salat wa ita zakat wa sawmi Ramadan wa hajj al-bayt. That the pillars of Islam are 5. And the 5 pillars are well known to all of us. The first being the testimony that there is none other than Allah and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his apostle and his messenger. The second of the pillars of Islam is the salat, to establish the salawat, and then followed by the zakat, followed by Ramadan, followed by Hajj. So zakat is the third pillar of Islam, but it is the pillar of our deen that is most neglected by the Muslims. And you would only appreciate this statement if you imagine how much all of us strive to achieve the 5th pillar of Islam, even as we neglect the 3rd pillar of Islam. Which is the 5th pillar of Islam? Hajj. To go to Hajj. Everybody wants to go to Hajj. Even those who are entitled to be given zakat, they want to go to Hajj. For some reason, nobody is thinking, I want to pay zakat. But everybody wants to go to Hajj, even as we do not meet the primary qualification of going to Hajj, which is affordability, i.e., that we are able to afford the money to go to Hajj. I'm not sure that it was the intention of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that more Muslims should be going to Hajj than paying Zakat. I would hazard a guess that his intention would have been that more of us would be paying Zakat than going to Hajj. But the Muslims, we have turned it upside down and we have given primacy to Hajj. I said I would hazard a guess. I may be wrong, but I am saying it is highly unlikely that the intention of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is that we would find more Muslims going to Hajj than paying Zakat. And so seriously do we take this fifth pillar of Islam that some people have been to Hajj 10 times and they have never paid Zakat. Some have been to Hajj 5 times and they have never paid Zakat. Some are waiting to be given Zakat and yet they are preparing to go to Hajj at the same time. When you imagine that it takes millions of naira to be able to go to Hajj today. Our subject of discussion is Zakat and Sadakah, and what I have in mind is to marry the two to see how they can be one and the same. But before we will do that, let me just make reference to the categories of people that are eligible to be given Zakat. I would imagine that most of us already know these categories of people, but for the benefit of reminding ourselves and enhancing our knowledge, we'll mention them. Who are the first category of people to be given Zakat, eligible for Zakat? Al-Fuqara, i.e. the poor. People who are recognized as poor in the community. Next to that is Al-Masakin, the needy. People who are not necessarily poor, but they are needy at the particular point in time. And any one of us, even those who are not poor, can find themselves in this category. Number 3, Al-Amilina alayha. Who are the Amilina alayha? Those who work for the collection or the institution of the collection of Zakat. They are actually entitled to be given a portion of the Zakat. Their salaries can be paid from the Zakat, and if they are themselves either in the category of the poor or the needy, even they can be given from the Zakat that they would have collected. The next one is Al-Mu'allafatil Qulub, i.e. people who are not necessarily Muslims, but their hearts are disposed to Islam, or we are trying to win them over to Islam. We can use our financial resources to do this, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he actually practiced this. He used to give Zakat to some of the leaders of the Quraysh who were influential members of their community, and this continued through the time of Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu and to the time of Umar. But once during the caliphate of Umar, these people who are used to being given portions of the Zakat during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they found that nothing was brought to them in Zakat. So they asked that where is our portion of the Zakat? And Umar radiyallahu anhu, in his characteristic manner, Umar said to them, the Prophet was giving you Zakat because you were strong and we were weak. Abu Bakr continued to give you Zakat because you were strong and we were weak. Today we are strong and you are weak, no more Zakat for you. That was the characteristics of Umar radiyallahu anhu. The next category of people is what is being described as wafil riqab, i.e. to free the slaves. People that we know are slaves, and we use money collected through Zakat to free them so that we set them free. They are no longer slaves. Also, those who are in debt, they may not necessarily be poor, but at that point in time, they are in need. And one of the situations in which the Prophet did not want death to catch us is in the situation of owing people, owing a lot of money. So when we know people that are in debt, then we can take from Zakat money and give them and say, go and settle your debt with this. And then the Mujahideen, who are the Mujahideen? Those who are striving in the cause of Allah. These can include students of knowledge, people who are studying Islam with a view to calling to the ways of Allah, with a view to becoming scholars of the Deen. We can use from Zakat money to train these people. And the final category are the wayfarers, people who are on a journey and then they are stranded. They have become stranded. We can use part of the Zakat money to give them relief. Now, anyone outside of this category of people that we have mentioned, we cannot give Zakat. We can only give Sadakah. Sadakah. We can give Sadakah, but definitely not Zakat to this category of people. I'm going to ask certain questions and I'm going to answer them myself for the sake of time, right? Ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, ọmọ àbúrò mi, wọ́n gbé lọ́dọ̀ mi, owó school wọn ó ti due. Can I use part of my Zakat to pay their school fees? The answer is no. Yes, if they are living with their parents and their parents cannot pay their school fees, then they are not your responsibility. But if they are living under you and they have become your responsibility, then you can no longer use Zakat money to pay their school fees. You can pay their school fees knowing that you are doing Sadaqah. You are giving Sadaqah, you are relieving their parents, who is your brother or your sister. Again, you can use Zakat money to help them if they are not living with you and they are not your responsibility. But from the moment they are living in your household, they have become your responsibility. You can no longer use your Zakat money to pay their school fees. Can a husband give part of his Zakat to his wife? The answer is no, because the husband is responsible for the wife. You do not use Zakat to bear obligations or responsibilities that you are responsible for. Can a wife give part of her Zakat to her husband? The answer is yes, because the wife is not responsible for the husband. However, our religion is a practical religion. Ó ṣeé ṣe kí Ọlọ́run ọba kí ó kẹ́ ìyàwó ju ọkọ lọ. Ó ṣeé ṣe kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ọkọ ló ní lọ́wọ́, òun ló ń tọ́jú ìyàwó. Ọlọ́run mú ìgbà míì wá, ìyàwó di ẹni tó ní lọ́wọ́, ọkọ ò ní lọ́wọ́ púpọ̀. Ìyàwó tá a sì ń sọ yìí olówó gidigidi òun náà ni ó lè múnú owó Zakat ẹ̀, ó lè fi ran ọkọ lọ́wọ́, ṣùgbọ́n ọkọ ò lè fi tí ẹ̀ ran ìyàwó lọ́wọ́ nítorí pé the husband is responsible for the wife. Now, so how do we determine what we pay in Zakat? Again, we already know, but as an academic exercise, we shall tell ourselves. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A kí àwọn ìmáàmù wa kí wọ́n máa wọlé. Ọlọ́run bá wa kí. You are most welcome. How do we determine what we pay in Zakat? Zakat is 2.5. Now, a money does not qualify to be given in Zakat unless it has reached the nisab. What is the nisab? The minimum threshold of money that we would have saved over a 1 year period. The nisab is the minimum threshold of money that we have had in saving over a 1 year period. 1 year being Islamic 1 year rather than the Gregorian 1 year. Now, for 20, now, the nisab is equivalent of 3 ounces of pure gold or 21 ounces of silver. We may not know what an ounce of gold is, but in monetary terms, for 2018, using the United States dollar, which is the world currency, 3 ounces of gold is about $3,856. That is 2018 amount. So how do we determine what is our zakat in Nigeria? Today, we can multiply $3,856 by 360 naira to $1, and that will give us about 1,390,000 naira. So anyone in Nigeria here who has had in saving over a 1 year period, 1,390,000 naira, then zakat will be due. 2.5% will be due on that amount. Remember, it is 2.5%. Ìdá mélòó ni ti church? Ìdá mẹ́wàá. Ìdá tiwa àti ẹ̀lẹ́sán Yorùbá. Ìdá mélòó ni 2.5 ní Yorùbá? Ìdá méjì àbọ̀. Ìdá méjì àbọ̀ nínú ọgọ́rùn-ún òun ni tiwa ní Yorùbá. Now, ẹ wá jẹ́ agbéra wa. Kiriyó mélòó ló ń san ìdá mẹ́wàá? Mùsùlùmí mélòó ló ń san ìdá méjì àbọ̀?
1%.
The best answer I'm hearing is 1%. Now, my wife once said, and I agree with her, she said that when it comes to having faith in God, that if I spend this money in the way of God, God will return it manifold. The Christians are more faithful than the Muslims are. And it is true. And the zakat is the best measure of it. In my office, everybody from cleaner to gate man to whatever, they talk about this 10%. And you know what? Their own 10% is also done on a monthly basis. As they are deducting, as they are collecting their salary, they are taking out the 10% from that salary. Even ẹni tí owó yẹn ò tó wọ mọ́tò láàrin oṣù kan, á sì yọ ìdá mẹ́wàá yẹn nítorí pé ó ní ìgbàgbọ́ pé Ọlọ́run bá tó ṣe yẹn yóò fi ọ̀pọ̀ rọ́pò. Àmọ́ àwa Mùsùlùmí, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa tí a bá search ara wa, the only reason tí a ṣe lè ṣe náà ni pé ọkàn wa ò, faith yẹn ò strong tó, ní pé Ọlọ́run ọba yóò fi ọ̀pọ̀ rọ́pò. So so any savings that we have, 1,390,000 in a year, 2.5% is due on it. Let us also note that zakat is due on our gold. Ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, all the gold that you have at home, that you just keep them away, right? At the end of the year, you have to calculate the value of the gold, and zakat will be due on it. The same for silver, the same for investments. If you have an investment in GTB Bank, for instance, right, you know the value of the investment. A year after, the investment is still there, it's worth zakat, 2.5% is due on it. The same for rental income. Gbogbo ẹni tí Ọlọ́run bá bá yọ̀ǹda fún pé ó kọ́lé, ó wá ń gba owó ilé lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn lẹ́yìn ọdún kan tó fi owó pamọ́, ohun tí ó fi pamọ́ yẹn ó pé 1,390,000 naira. Zakat, it is due on it. Àbí aṣòwò, ajèrè, a fi owó náà pamọ́, ó pé nisab, zakat is due on it. The same on shares and the same on bonds. However, and this is very important, it is possible that we have this amount in nisab, but we are also indebted to some people ourselves. If we have the amount that is due by nisab and we are indebted to people, then now your money, your saving has reached the nisab, but you are also owing some people. you have to take out what you are owing people from the nisab. If after deducting what you owe other people, then the balance of your money is equivalent of 595 grams of silver, then zakat will still be obligatory on that money. And for 2018, 595 grams of silver is valued as 333 US dollars, which in naira will be about 120,000 naira. Remember, the starting point is you have savings that is about 1,390,000 naira 2018 money at 360 to 1. The rate may change next year, but you are also owing people. But by the time you have deducted what you owe people, you still have a balance of 120,000 naira, then you are eligible to pay zakat on that 120,000 naira. But you must first have the nisab. In other words, ẹni tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ohun tí ó ní at the end of the year 120,000 naira ni owó yẹn ò wọ nisab. Ẹni tí owó ẹ̀ wọ nisab nígbà tó wá yọ gbèsè tí òun náà jẹ ní tí ó kù nìyẹn. Látara yí pé owó yẹn ti wọ nisab in the first place, òun ni zakat ló ṣe di ọ̀ranyàn fún ẹni náà. Kọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Moving on. So what is the relationship between zakat and sadaqah? And this is what we want to mainly establish with our talk today. The word sadaqah, sadaqah, is mentioned 12 times in the Quran. And in 3 of these places that Allah mentions the word sadaqah, Allah is actually talking about zakat. Yet sadaqah is the word that Allah has used. Earlier we mentioned the 8 categories of people who are entitled to zakat. Even in that ayat, Surah At-Tawbah, ayat 9, verse 60, Allah did not use the word sadaqah. He said, "Innama sadaqatu lil fuqara'i wal masakini wal amilina 'alayha wa fi riqab." Ọlọ́run sọ pé dájúdájú sọ́dákọ̀ àwọn èèyàn 8 òun la máa pín fún. Ọlọ́run ò sọ pé zakat ní ibẹ̀ yẹn. Yet, whenever people will make a reference to the categories of people that are entitled to zakat, this is the ayat that they make reference to. Innama sadaqatu lil fuqara'i wal masakini wal amilina 'alayha wa fi riqab, to the end of the 8 categories. So we know that by Allah, zakat and sadaqah can mean one and the same. We also find that in 2 other places within the same Surah At-Tawbah that Allah is talking about zakat, it is the word sadaqah that Allah has used there. We find this in Quran 9 verse 103 and Quran 9 verse 104. In chapter 9 verse 103, Allah said, "Khudh min amwalihim sadaqatan," i.e., take from their wealth to tawhiruhum, to purify them, wa tuzakkihim biha, and to sanctify them. Allah is talking about zakat, yet the word that He has chosen to use is sadaqah. And in the following ayah, in chapter 104, say that do they not know that it is Allah who takes the sadaqat, i.e., Allah is referring to zakat, and do they not know that He is the one who forgives? So, scholars have told us that in this ayat that we have made reference to, even though Allah is talking about zakat, sadaqah is the word that He has chosen to use. So with this, have I established the link between zakat and sadaqah. So going forward, I'm going to make reference more to sadaqah than zakat. Indeed, I'm simply going to make reference to charity, and I'm going to make reference to the need to spend in the way of Allah. And as I talk, if you like, translate it as Zakat. If you like, translate it as Sadakah. But all I will be talking about is the need to spend for the sake of Allah. In Surah Al-Hadid, Allah talks about a range of subjects, some related, some unrelated, right? Now, he talks about them in categories, almost in categories of importance. Allah starts, Surah Al-Hadid is one of those places in the Quran in which Allah tells us about himself in a manner, some of those manners that are only befitting of Allah. He says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wal ardi. That whatever is in the heavens and the earth, they praise Allah. Lahu mulku samawati wal ardi yuhyi wa yumeet. That to him belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. Yuhyi wa yumeet is the one who gives life and is the one who takes life. Wal awwal wal akhir wal zahir wal batin. Allah saying, I am the first, I am the last, I am the one that is hidden, yet I am the one that is manifest. Huwalladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda fi sittati ayyamin thumma istawa 'ala al-'arsh. That I am the one who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and after the creation of the heavens and the earth, thumma istawa 'ala al-'arsh, which is only befitting of the description of the existence of Allah. And again he says, Yuliju layla fin nahari wa yuliju nahara fil layl. I am the one who turns the day into night, and I am the one who turns the night into day. Nothing leaves the heaven to the earth, and nothing leaves the earth to the heaven except with my knowledge and permission. So Allah keeps telling us about himself, describing himself. Do you know why? That is one subject. In Ayah 6, Allah ended that topic. In Ayah 7, he says, having told you about me, who I am, Aminu billahi wa rasuli. Now this is a command. Believe in me, Allah, and believe in my prophets. So Allah started by telling us about himself, how majestic he is. And having told us about himself, he now says with a tone of command, believe in Allah and believe in his prophets. And then that is the end of the second subject. You know what Allah says next? That this is what is next important. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا جَعَلَكُمْ مُسْتَخْلَفِينَ فِيهِ. Having known me and having believed in me and my prophet, then spend out of that upon which we have made you a trustee. Brothers and sisters, spend out of what? Out of that upon which we have made you a trustee. There is nowhere in the Quran that Allah says, spend out of what belongs to you. Spend out of that upon which we have made you a trustee. Meaning that whoever Allah has chosen to be rich amongst us, Allah has just chosen him to be a trustee over that wealth. When it pleases him, he leaves it with the person. When it pleases him, he takes it away from the person. And this is the most important lesson that we have to learn when it comes to ownership of wealth, that we are only a trustee over it. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا جَعَلَكُمْ مُسْتَخْلَفِينَ فِيهِ. Right? So, spend out of that upon which we have made you a trustee. So, our emphasis from now on is going to be upon why spending can be a source of dawah. When last Sunday, when we had our conference and the new Amir emerged, my predecessor in office, now our national Amir, he mentioned that tí Imam Nojeem bá ń ké Kùránì ó máa ń wo òun náà wípé kóun náà lè ké Kùránì bí Imam Nojeem. Ó ní Imam Nojeem máa sọ fún òun wípé ntọ́lọ́run bá ràn wọ́ ó ní pé kí wọ́n máa náwó sórí ẹ̀sìn tó fi Kùránì sílẹ̀ fún Imam Nojeem nítorí pé tàbá rírú yín kò sí Islam. Bọ́lọ́run bá ṣe pín nìyẹn o, bọ́lọ́run bá bí ó ṣe pín òun nìyẹn, right? Some of us, our role is to spend on the day, and without that spending, there is no gain. But let me give us practical examples of how our money can be a source of dawah. When my father died last year, some of the brothers here were there at the burial ground, and we made an announcement at the burial ground that the entire family had agreed that there was not going to be ìjọ́ mẹ́ta, ìjọ́ mẹ́jọ, ogójì ọjọ́, ọdún kan, or whatever, that tabati kú on burial ground ń bí ó ti tán náà nìyẹn o. Òkúta wá sí àtún nítorí ẹ̀ jókòó sí ibì kan mọ́. There are people in my family that to whom that is a big thing. My immediate senior sister, she's the socialite ambassador of our family. Right? Wọ́n ti bá èèyàn ṣe, táwọn náà sì ń retí ìjọ́ táwọn èèyàn wá bá wọn ṣe as well. Kò tí sí wọn tá ń bá èèyàn ṣe tó kọjá òkú nílẹ̀ wa ń bì, right? But that statement that we made at the burial ground, it was true. We had a meeting championed by me, and we all agreed that inshallah, this was while our father was still alive. And after the meeting, we sat down with our father, and we said, this is what we as your children have agreed. And I remember his response was, but after that meeting, I know that my next visit to my father in Abeokuta, my father, but me, I also knew that somebody had gone behind me to say that, Baba, I knew where it was coming from. So I called another meeting, and the conclusion before our father died was, ìjọ tí bàbá bá ti lọ, tá bá ti sin bàbá, ó ti tán náà nìyẹn, a dẹ̀ fi ohùn sí ibẹ̀. Bọ̀ níbo ni mò ń lọ pẹ̀lú story òun náà ní pé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n gbà fún mi nínú family, wọ́n ti jú mi, wọ́n dẹ̀ lè wò mí lójú. You know why? It's not because I am an alpha, it's not because I am an imam. I have reached out to them, and I continue to reach out to them, to the point that they will sacrifice their position on issues. Kill Alhaji we. I am the only Alhaji in our entire family. No other person that goes to Hajj is called Alhaji in my family. When they say Kill Alhaji we, there is only one person they are referring to, and it is me. I am the Alhaji in the family, even more than those who went to Hajj before me. Right? Now, what did you mean? I am not the richest in the family. But many tí wọ́n ti jújù nínú family because of little reaching out. Brothers and sisters, these are some of the ways by which your money can be dawah. Number 2, my wife is here as a witness. There is nobody alive in my family at large that qualifies to be called àwọn náà kú bàbá fún wa àbí àwọn náà kú màmá fún wa, that I do not give 5,000 naira a month. And inshallah, for as long as they live, I will do it. Right? Some of them are not even old enough to be baba to me. But àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n tí wọ́n ti dé stage ipe wọ́n tó jẹ́ bàbá, tàbá sọ pé àwọn olókùn bàbá ńlé. Ọjọ́ tá sin bàbá wa, wọ́n tó jù mí lọ́wọ́ à ń bẹ̀ náà, ǹjẹ́ wọ́n pè wọ́n? Nígbà tí Alhaji wa ń dúró, Alhaji is the head of the family. Right? But Alhaji has used what the little that Allah has given him to buy that headship of the family. Brothers and sisters, má ṣe òkú, má ṣe jọ́ mẹ́jọ, má ṣe ìyàwó, má ṣe kíní, wọ́n bá tó wá ń ṣe ìtọ́lọ́run bá Allah. Do we support them? If we don't support them, we don't have the mouth to say don't do this and don't do this and don't do this. The ones tọ́lọ́run bá allow wọn láti ṣe, let us use our little resources to do them. And I want to say something to all of you that are present here today. Those of you that are in my age group, if you are not already doing it, right? The people in Lighthouse will tell you how much I have preached this to them. Anybody that remains alive, gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó bá kù láyé nínú àwọn tó ń jọ jẹ́ ọmọ ìyá àbí ọmọ bàbá pẹ̀lú àwọn òbí yín, go and put them on the salary. 5,000 naira is enough. Gbogbo àwọn tó bá kù láyé tó yẹ pé àwọn àti bàbá yín àbí ìyá yín wọ́n jọ jẹ́ ọmọ ìyá ọmọ bàbá, go and put them on the salary, and that is what I do. How much is 5,000 naira a month? 60,000 naira a year. 60,000 naira yẹn níwájú wọn ó tóbi ju 100,000 tẹ́ máa fún wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà tí wọ́n mọ ìjọ tí ẹ̀ ń mú ìmí ìbọ̀ òun lọ. Go and put them on the salary, right? I have been doing this. May Allah make it easy for me, right? Because I'm doing this, their children know that I am doing it, right? Because of this, ó ṣòro láti wojú mi in the family and say pé kí làlájì sọ nígbà tálájì wá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ nǹkan. When our father died, my sister told me this. People call my sister pé Nojeem lè jọkùnrin bọ ìwọ làgbà náà ifun kó jẹ́ ìjọ kan ló fi jù lọ. Nojeem ò lè máa wá pa àṣẹ fún ẹ nínú kíní pé ìwọ làgbà nǹkan kan. But of all the people tí ò lè wojú mi in the family, right, the one who respects me the most is this my sister. If there is anybody in our family who would file party for Nopoka, when our father died, it was this my sister, right? But if it all only kí wọ́n ti jú mi dé, sister mi ò lè gbomi lẹ́nu, wọ́n sọ pé àwọn máa ṣe ti àwọn lọ́tọ̀. Brothers, you have to use the little that Allah has given you. Dawah ni mo ń ṣe ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà. Number 2, and I'm saying this to you again, see, the family that I come from, family àwọn èèyàn tí ò kàwé ni. Indeed, I cannot, looking back, and I cannot remember one person in my entire extended family who went to university before me. Wallahi, I cannot. As I'm speaking, I don't know one person in my entire extended family, from father's side and from mother's side, who went to university before me. And because we are from a family of largely uneducated people, you know what? And then because also our father was the only person who came to Lagos to live in the family. The rest of them stayed in Abeokuta and they lived virtually all their lives in Abeokuta. Now, and what has happened is, right? The second thing I want to say to you, brothers, if you come from my kind of family, say to your cousins, tí wọ́n ń gbé ìlú yín, tí wọ́n kàwé, tí wọ́n ní lọ́wọ́, pé any one of their children tó bá wọ university, you will take over the responsibility of that child. But university is the threshold, and you make it clear, anything beyond university, you are not getting involved. But ìwọ cousin mi tí ò ní lọ́wọ́ àti ìwọ cousin mi tí ò ní lọ́wọ́, because on all of them in Abeokuta, there is not one of my cousins from father side who has had a child who has gone to university, because they have just followed in the footsteps of their parents who have not had. Right? Now set the bar high that any one of your children tó bá gbìyànjú débi pé ó rí admission to university, I will take over the responsibility of that child. Right? That father will do everything to make sure that child gets to university level. Those children would also do everything to make sure they get to university level. Brothers and sisters, this is how to do dawah with your money. All that I have said, it is dawah that we are doing, right? And those who have to do this more amongst us are those of us who are always saying to people that Mashoku, right? Now, so number 2, I just want to share little things that I had from other people, and then I have imposed on myself. I just heard somebody saying it. I was doing Juma at Lekki Central Mosque. Imam Sayi was the one leading the Juma. And Imam Sayi said, Yorùbá Ìlọrin ló fi sọ, tó mo wish pé mo lè sọ. Ó ní tàbá kí Jímọ̀ tán tàbá kàwó 5 naira, 10 naira, 100 naira, nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ó ní kí ló ṣe ọmọ Mùsùlùmí tí ò lè sọ pé gbogbo Jímọ̀ tó bá bá mi láyé níwọ̀n bá ìgbà tí n bá ṣì ń wà ní ayé máa fi 1,000 naira sílẹ̀ nínú kóló. Inú khutbah ló ti sọ. I rose from that Juma saying to myself, every Juma that meets me on the surface of the earth while I am alive, I am going to put 1,000 naira in the kolo, and I have done it. This must be about 7 years ago when he has done it. This is how to use little money to do dawah. It is not befitting of any one of us. Nbi kaloki Juma, a máa fi 50 naira, 20 naira sínú kolo, kí ni mọ́ṣáláṣí fẹ́ fi ṣe. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwa tí a jẹ́ member companion kò sẹ́ni tí ò lè afford 1,000 naira. How much is 1,000 naira ní ọdún kan? 52,000 naira. There is not one of us. Ẹ̀yin náà ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu tèmi nìyẹn o, èmi náà gbọ́ lẹ́nu èèyàn kan nìyẹn o. Resolve within you pé every Juma tí ẹ lè má jẹ́ 1,000 naira, ó lè jẹ́ 500 naira, ó lè jẹ́ 200. Every Juma that meets me on the surface of the earth, I will put this amount of money down. Ẹlẹ́kẹta, our president at Lighthouse Estate, Shoaib Salis, SAS, he was giving a talk and he said, mi ò rántí kí ni origin ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó sọ yẹn. He said that anytime he enters a new mosque for the first time, that this is the first time he is stepping into this new mosque, he will never come out of that mosque without putting something down in their kolo. I heard it from his mouth. Allah is my witness. I imposed it upon myself. I will never enter a new mosque for the first time except that I will put something down. This is Sadakah as Dawah. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín are in a new mosque for the first time. Ọlọ́run bá wá ń bá yín wí o. From the same Suratul Hadid, Ọlọ́run bá ní wa ma lakum alla tunfiqu fi sabilillahi walillahi mirathu samawati wal ard. Ó ní kí ló ṣe yín? What is the matter with you that you do not spend in the way of Allah when you Allah belong to heritage? Heritage Ọlọ́run bá lò ń bẹ̀. Ó ní kí ló ṣe yín tẹ́ ẹ̀ náwó sójú ọ̀nà Ọlọ́run ọba nígbà tó jẹ́ pé ogún àtòkè àti ilẹ̀ tí Ọlọ́run ọba ló ń ṣe in the first place, kí ló ń fẹ́ fi owó yín ṣe? Ó tún wá ń sọ ní àyà tó tẹ̀lé that even if you spend la yastawi, báwo ló ṣe sọ? La yastawi minkum la yastawi minkum man anfaqa min qabli al-fathi wa qatal ulaika a'zamu darajatan minal ladhina anfaqu min ba'du wa qatalu. Ó ní kíni tẹ́ ń ná, gbogbo ohun tẹ́ wá lè ná kò lè dàbí àwọn tí wọ́n ná ńgbà tí Islam ò tí ì jọba, tí Ànábì ò tí ì kọ́ńkà Mẹ́kà, nítorí pé àwọn yóò rí àrídájú wípé yóò kọ́ńkà Mẹ́kà. Wọ́n kàn ń ná látara wípé ìfà Suratul Hadid yìí, àsìkò tí Ọlọ́run bá sọ kalẹ̀, àsìkò tí àwọn mùsùlùmí tí wọ́n kúrò ní Mẹ́kà tí wọ́n lọ sí Mọ̀dínà, tó wá jẹ́ pé problems pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ gan, ìtí òrò ń jẹjẹ, ìtí òrò owó ná, ìkọ̀ǹkọ̀. Ọlọ́run bá wá fìlì pé we need to motivate the Muslims. We need to motivate the Muslims and get them to know that money is part of what is going to make this religion successful. That was when this ayat was revealed. So Allah saying that àwa tí a ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn wọn la yastawi min anfaqa min qabli al-fathi wa qatal, gbogbo ohun tẹ́ lè ná kò lè dàbí ti àwọn yẹn torí pé ẹ̀yin ti rí àrídájú kẹ́ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ná owó yẹn. Àwọn ènìyàn ò rí àrídájú kí wọ́n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ná. Àmọ́ Ar-Rahman ẹ mọ ohun tó sọ lẹ́yìn yẹn, ó ní wa kullan wa'ada Allahu al-husna. Ó ní látara yí pé Ọlọ́run ọba tó wà generous ni wá, àtàwọn àtẹ̀yìn ẹ̀san kan náà lásán gbogbo yín. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ẹ̀san kan náà òun lásán gbogbo yín. Nídìí èyí Ọlọ́run bá wá ń béèrè Man dhal ladhi yuqridu Allaha qardan hasana fayudha'ifahu wa lahu ajrun karim. Ta ló fẹ́ yá Ọlọ́run ọba lówó nínú yín? Èmi kọ́ ni mo tú bẹ́ẹ̀ o, tọ́lọ́run bá sọ gangan nìyẹn. Ó ní ta ni ó fẹ́ yá Ọlọ́run ọba lówó nínú yín? Kẹ́ máa wá wo ohun tí Ọlọ́run ọba tí ó fi rọ́pò ẹ̀ padà. Ṣọ́lọ́run bá lówó wá lò ní. Èyí tá a bá ná sójú náà Ọlọ́run ọba, a yá Ọlọ́run ọba lówó, òun náà nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí a yá Ọlọ́run ọba lówó. Tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ owó níná, yóò máa fi sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọkùnrin ju ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn obìnrin lọ. Mọ́ nínú àyà yìí, Ọlọ́run bá fẹ́ ká mọ̀ yí pé kì í ṣe àwọn ọkùnrin nìkan òun ni òun bá wí o. Ọlọ́run ọba ó wá ń bá àwọn obìnrin náà wí. Ó ń wí pé I have moved ahead of myself. Mi tẹ̀ mọ́ bí tí mo dé gan nínú nóòtù mi mọ́. Ọlọ́run ọba ó ń bá àwọn obìnrin náà wí nínú Suratul Hadid. Ó ní if I remember the ayat, I will quote it. Ohun tọ́lọ́run bá ń sọ ní ibẹ̀ yẹn, òun náà ní pé innal musaddiqina wal musaddiqat wa aqradu Allaha qardan hasana yudha'afu lahum wa lahum ajrun karim. Ó ní kì í ṣe àwọn ọkùnrin nìkan là ń bá wí nínú yín o, àwọn obìnrin nínú yín náà tí wọ́n ní owó lọ́wọ́. Bí a ṣe rọ àwọn ọkùnrin kí wọ́n ná owó sí ojúnà Ọlọ́run ọba, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni a rán ẹ̀yin obìnrin wípé kí ẹ náwó sí ojúnà Ọlọ́run ọba. Bí a ṣe san àwọn ọkùnrin ní ẹ̀san wípé wọ́n náwó sí ojúnà Ọlọ́run ọba, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni a ṣe san ẹ̀yin obìnrin lówó sí ojúnà Ọlọ́run ọba. Ní ayé ibòmíì nínú Suratul Munafiqun, ó ní wa anfiqu mimma razaqnakum min qabli an ya'tiya ahadakumul maut fayaqula rabbi lawla akhartani ila ajalin. Allahu akbar. Ẹ mọ̀ kí Ọlọ́run bá wí ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Ó ní ẹjá tètè ná ìtẹ́ ẹ̀nà kíkú tó dé, nítorí kẹ máa dàbí àwọn tó jẹ́ pé ńgbà tí ikú bá dé tó ti dájú pé wọ́n ti lọ, wọ́n máa wá sọ wípé Ọlọ́run bá lè fún wa yọ̀ǹda ká padà. Èyí tá à nọ́mbà yẹn káwa náà fún wa, kó fún wa ní ìyọ̀ǹda ìgbà díẹ̀. N'tọ́lọ́run bá sọ nínú Suratul Munafiqun òun nìyẹn o. Nínú Suratul Talaq, ó ní liyunfiq dhu sa'atin min sa'atihi. Ó ní bí owó bá ṣe wà ní ọwọ́ yín, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní kẹ́ẹ̀dé náà. Wa man qudira alayhi rizquhu falyunfiq mimma ataahu Allah. Àwọn olówó ń bẹ nínú yín, ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n ná nínú olówó. Àwọn oníkékèké ń bẹ nínú yín, ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n ná nínú kékeré. Ó ń sọ ní àyà tí ó tẹ̀lé, ó ní la yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa ma ataha sayaj'alu Allahu ba'da usrin yusra. Àwọn tá ní lọ́wọ́ ló ń sọ ńbẹ̀ yẹn. Ó ní àlábò yín lọ́rùn. We have not placed upon you any more burden than you have the capacity to bear. Sayaj'alu Allahu ba'da usrin yusra. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ sì wá nínú àwọn tí ó gba sàkálẹ̀ ni. Ó ní kẹ́ ẹ máa mọ̀ yí pé lẹ́yìn ìnira ìdẹ̀ra ló tún bọ̀. Kọ́lọ́run máa ṣàṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún wa. Amir, let me round up by addressing our members. We have a new Amir. Alhaji Shunaike is sitting to my right and is a witness to what I'm going to say next. 4 years ago, when I was approached to become the Amir of the organization, I did everything to resist becoming the Amir. I did not want to become the Amir. But you know why? When I became Noibul Amir to Alhaji Shunaike, and that was my first time as a former member of the organization, what I met was that he was spending a lot of his personal resources to do things that the associations need to do. Afẹ́ṣẹlẹ̀ 250,000 naira, he will put it down. Afẹ́ṣẹlẹ̀ 150,000 naira, he will put it down. And as far as I was concerned, as a new person in the exco, this is the way the companion runs, right? Irú ẹgbẹ́ olélé yìí tó yẹ pé àlọ́ ló máa ná gbogbo owó tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe. So when they said it was my turn to become Agbero, mo ní èmi ò lówó Shunaike. èmi ò lówó tó jẹ́ pé owó ara mi òun ní màá fi ṣe. I told him privately that this one that every exco meeting that we did Bello Ozo Simbileni Amir, are we not going to eat 15,000 Amir Lawambi 15,000 naira Elora Mr. Biggs. There was no exco meeting that we did not eat, and he was the one who paid for it again and again and again and again. Ọwọ́lẹ̀ mi ló kàn kí n di Amir. Ẹgbẹ́ olówó eléyìí o, ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ mo ní rárá, I'm not going to become the Amir. Ìjọ́ tèmi náà bá lówó bíi Ṣọ́nà Èkè, you can come and call me, I will become the Amir. Right? But alhamdulillah, Ọlọ́run bá fún wa ṣe. A jẹun nígbà tiwa náà o, àwọn made pie la jẹun nígbà tiwa. Ẹ wá rí Amir tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jẹ́ yìí. Agídí lòun ní o. Agídí lòun ní. Ó dẹ̀ ti wọ́n wá. When we swore him in last Sunday, àti àti swear in tó ti resign already. That if you leave me alone to do this something, I'm going to tender my resignation. Àmọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n mọ history ẹgbẹ́ wọn ló bá ń lé ni. Wọ́n ní senior brother wa Imam Abdul Fattah Abdul Majid wọ́n ní báwọn náà ṣe threatening láti resign. Òun náà nìyẹn. So wọ́n ní threatening. Àmọ́ wọ́n láwọn náà resign. Ó ti gbọ́, he was a real threat, right? Brothers and sisters, the minimum membership fee of the association is 24,000 naira per annum, not per month. 24,000 naira. Without money, there is no association, right? This place that we are paying 70,000 naira every month to use this place. This is the third one that we are doing there. Kì í sanwó kan tó kọ́ ibi. But lẹ́yìn tó ti aláwa ká máa lo ibi. They said we have to pay 70,000 naira. Ẹ̀kẹta tá a máa san 70,000 naira rí. Before this 70,000 naira, Sallu ala Nabi al-Karim. Èlò la máa ń ná average láti ṣe joint usrah. 120,000 naira is our average fee to host joint usrah every month. Níjọ́ tẹ̀sí tí ń wá bí àgbowó lọ́wọ́ yín rí, àgbowó ń bì, àǹṣalásàlátù tí ń gbowó every Sunday. Ẹ tí ẹ béèrè ìbolówó náà tí wá every month we are spending 120,000 naira. Kò sí guest lecturer tá a pè wá tá a fún lówó rí, àwọn tá a bá jára lé là kí ń gbowó, right? It's part of our something. You hear our programs on Radio Lagos all the month. Radio Lagos ò ń ṣọ̀fẹ́. We pay to advertise the program and everything. Kódà mo sọ ní last Sunday fún ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá wá síbi conference wa, mo ní kí ló dé tá a máa gba owó tá a bá jókòó pé à ń ṣe ìjókòó báyìí. But àwọn members sọ yé pé pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run ó gbé a ní máa gba owó àsì ní fi owó lé yín lọ. À ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ yín tá a bá jókòó báyìí. But you have to support. But whoever brings money to us, we won't say no to it. Somebody can choose from today that this 70,000 naira, I am going to bear it. Ọlọ́run bá fi ọ̀pọ̀rọ̀pọ̀ starting from 10. Somebody can choose that the advert on Radio Lagos, I am going to do it. That is using your money to do dawah. Inshallah, Allah will replenish the source. Somebody can choose that from this lecture of today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I am not going to hold annual subscription anymore. Allah will see the intention and Allah will replace it manifold. And this is why àwọn òyìnbó tí wọ́n lẹ́sìn wọn kì í jalè bí àwa nítorí pé gbogbo nǹkan wọn ò ṣe ní ṣe pé à ń láti ní ẹ̀kan náà. Báwo lè wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ ra ilẹ̀ 50 million naira ní ẹ̀kan náà kó dẹ̀ kọ́lé sórí ilẹ̀ yẹn, right? Òyìnbó á spread it here over 25 years. Pé 25 years ni máa fi sanwó ilé ìtàn. Kódà tí ó bá try láti fẹ́ san tán in 20 years, báńkì gangan máa sọ fún yín pé ó ti yá jù. Make it 25 years. Ọdún àwọn yẹn ń torí èlé tí wọ́n rí ní orí ẹ̀ òun ni, right? So brothers and sisters, these are practical ways by which what is ordinarily not affordable to us can be affordable. I want us to live here with the resolve that as a member of the companion, inshallah, all my obligations to the companion, I'm going to do it. May Allah make it possible. Amen. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ dẹ̀ máa gba zakat ní èní, lára trial Ọlọ́run ọba òun náà ní pé kéèyàn wà ní position ẹni tó jẹ́ pé látara pé kò ní wọ́n láti fún ní zakat. Ọlọ́run ọba ò sì ní fi kankan nu wálẹ̀ láì fún wa ní trial. Àmọ́ àdúrà náà wà, tẹ́ bá lọ wo Hisnul Muslim, mo wò lè ní for reference page 158, èyí tí ó ní English àti Arabic. Ẹni tí gbèsè bá wà ní ọrùn ẹ̀, kí ni Ànábì kó wa ká máa sọ? Allahumma kfini bi halalika an haramik wa aghnini bi fadlika amma siwak. Pé ìwọ Ọlọ́run ọba pèsè ọ̀nà halali fún mi débi pé màá mójú kúrò níbi haram, and make me independent of others. Ìwọ Ọlọ́run bá gba àdúrà mi débi pé mi ò ní wojú èèyàn kan kí n tó lè ṣe ohun tí màá ṣe. Abẹ Ọlọ́run ọba ní pé kí ó mú àdúrà iṣẹ́ lórí ìkọ̀ọ̀kan nínú yín. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá wà nínú ẹni tí ó wá gbà ní èní, Ọlọ́run bá kà wọ́n mọ́ ẹni tí ó fún ní ìjọ míì. Tí Ọlọ́run bá mú ìgbà míì dé, ẹ̀yin náà ẹ jẹ́ kí ẹ wà nínú àwọn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn náà yóò máa san zakat, kí Ọlọ́run bá kí ó mú ilé iṣẹ́. Finally, Eke Sonny, you scandalized me at the last conference, and I was not going to respond until Alaja was seated, right? And I want to respond today. You said that Emma Waoye Kon, you are going to create a post to tie down Nojeem Jimoh, to make sure that Nojeem Jimoh is not going to leave the companion, right? Pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run, ṣẹ́rẹ́gbẹ́ companion yìí, àjọ máa ṣe kú ni. Orí ẹ̀ náà sì la máa kú sí. Nojeem Jimoh lọ́bì kan. Àmọ́ ibi tí mo lọ ni pé Nojeem Jimoh ò ní ìdí oyè láti dúró sí companion. Nojeem Jimoh is here for life. Ọlọ́run bá kó ṣe ní ìrọ̀rùn fún wa. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We want to apologize. We won't be able to take questions because yes, we would if we have time after the distribution of zakat, because you wouldn't want to stretch the time for prayer so far. So we apologize for that. Number two is that there will be ESCO meeting of the companion this coming Sunday at the companion secretariat. The reason for this announcement is that both the old and the new ESCO are expected, because the old ones, the new ones, some of them do not know what they are supposed to do. So you still need to be coming to meeting at least for the next 2 months so that you keep them on track. I know, Potito. You keep them on track so that they will be able to perform their duty. We still need you. And if after 2 months you now want to come, you can continue to come. Nobody will send you away. So I will hand over the microphone to the Alpha of the companion, Ustaz Zikrullah Hazard, to start the second program.
National Director of Dawah.
We're going to spend about 30 minutes only to do the program of Zakat distribution. I took up the challenge to direct the affairs primarily because I want us to manage the time as much as possible. Looking at the program, is recognition of people on the high table. I will start from my right, if you permit me. In following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first person on the right is our special guest of honor, representing the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, who up till around 8 p.m. yesterday night was still contemplating on being here. But as anybody could imagine, the APC convention is holding in Abuja, so there is no basis for the deputy governor of Lagos State to be absent. But he is powerfully represented by the director of ADMI in the deputy governor's office, and that is Alhaji Taurid Tosumu. Well, I hope I'll get it right. Alhaji Abdulateef Bakare, who's one of us?
Yes.
Yes. Alhaji Abdulateef Bakare was one of us in the Lagos Island MSS.
Yes, sir.
He's the Imam of AM. He's representing. He's one of the representatives of the spiritual father of the day, Sheikh Suleiman Nala, who is the Grand Chief Imam of Lagos. He also wanted to be here, but as you could imagine the business of the Chief Imam of Lagos, but he has 4 powerful imams to represent him, and Alhaji Abdulateef Bakare is one of them. The leader of the delegates is the Imam of Idolu Mosque, Sheikh Imam Abdul Latif Usman. Besides Sheikh Abdul Latif Usman is the Amir of the companion. When he was mentioned, somebody said like Omar. He just use Shakara. We have Ustaz Abdulghani Abdulmajid, the Amir of Lagos District. Beside him is Imam Nojeem Jimoh, who is the immediate past Amir and therefore an advisor to Ustaz Abdulghani Abdulmajid. Beside him is the National Amir. The companion is resident in Lagos, is in Oyo State, is in Abuja, is in Cross River, among others. Is in Osun State. So our National Amir is Alhaji Muhammad Thabit Wale Shulai. Beside him is also representing the Chief Imam of Lagos and the Imam of Faji Mosque, Alhaji Imam Shiaba. Last but certainly not the least is the Imam of Al-Mu'minin Mosque, Haji Imam Muhammad Nuhu Jibril. I invite our National Amir for a short address on today's occasion.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm honored to welcome you to this occasion of the distribution of the companion Zakat and Sadakah to various beneficiaries. I'm also happy to know that this year's Zakat distribution ceremony is the 7th by the companion, but the first in the life of this administration since I assumed office as the National Amir of the companion. I'm happy to also report that the number of contributors this year is higher than in the previous years. We have also been able to increase the number of beneficiaries as well, even though it is less than 50% of the applicants that are getting Zakat today. This clearly shows that we still have a very long way to go. The amount of money we were able to collect this year is about 3.5 million, which is still a far cry from the fund available for Zakat and Sadakah within the Lagos economy in itself, even taking into consideration what other organizations are doing. So we have a long way to go. We observe with satisfaction that a number of Muslim organizations are also involved in Zakat collection and distribution, but all put together, it is still far below what we should be doing. However, I sincerely thank our Muslim brothers and sisters for entrusting us with their contribution to the fund. I still wish to call on numerous qualified Muslims in the society who are yet to respond, to listen and hasten to the call of Allah and willingly fulfill this important obligation. It is a common knowledge that the payment of Zakat is the least observed among the 5 pillars of Islam, because a vast majority of Muslims who are supposed to deduct and pay Zakat from their wealth have not paid sufficient attention to this obligation. I wish to remind all qualified Muslims that Zakat, according to the injunction of Allah, is a compulsory act of worship and is meant not only to glorify and increase our wealth, but also to earn a great reward from Almighty Allah, both in this world and in the hereafter. If left unpaid, unfortunately, the Zakat will also be a source of punishment from Allah, both in this world and in the hereafter. I pray to Almighty Allah to save us from His punishment. Dear brothers and sisters, the Companion Zakat and Sadakah Fund is a platform created by the Companion to serve many purposes geared towards earning the pleasure of Almighty Allah as Muslims. Part of the benefit we stand to gain if we do this, to create awareness among qualified Muslims that payment of Zakat is compulsory on them if their wealth is up to and above the Nisab. The lecturer has given us what the Nisab is. Sadaqah is also a voluntary act of charity from all Muslims, including whose wealth is below the Nisab. Part of the awareness is also to assist and encourage Muslim brothers and sisters to discharge their Zakat and Sadaqah obligations with ease. So rather than do it yourself, you can also do it through the companion. Among the benefits is also to provide a shelter for the poor and the needy Muslims in the community to receive lawful financial and material assistance to better their lives and alleviate their poverty. I therefore invite all Muslims to join hands with the companion in this campaign to create more awareness, especially among the qualified Muslims, to perform their Zakat and Sadaqah obligation by paying their Zakat to the companion Zakat and Sadaqah fund. I assure you that the fund is being administered in line with the Sharia of Islam. The highlight of the ceremony today involved distribution of Zakat to 75 beneficiaries in different categories, such as education support, especially for undergraduate students in the universities, medical treatment support, and rental accommodation purposes. Others will receive cash award and business equipment to start, support, or expand their businesses in the micro and small scale level. I enjoin the beneficiaries to ensure a prudent management of the fund, or equipment as you may receive today. And I pray Allah, to Almighty Allah, to banish poverty in all our lives. Amen. I must also add that the door is not closed to others who applied and are qualified for Zakat but are unable to benefit from the distribution being done today. We are constrained by the available funds and their cases are kept in view pending availability of funds. I use this opportunity again to appeal to qualified Muslims, brothers and sisters, to give us more support to enable us discharge this onerous responsibility on their behalf. Our door is therefore open all year round to receive Zakat and Sadakah donations. Our bank account details are contained in the flyers already circulated. Finally, I call on the government at all levels to create more social and welfare programs for the benefits of the long-suffering masses of this country. Healthcare services, especially at the primary healthcare centers, should be free and heavily subsidized. Pension should be paid as and when due. Education in public schools should be affordable. And agricultural sector, especially food crops production, storage and distribution, should be heavily subsidized in order to make prices of food affordable for the poor. The government should dialogue with labor to resolve issues of minimum wage, while political office holders should give up part of the extravagant lifestyle and humongous remuneration to release money for the welfare of the masses. I hasten to remind the government that the security and welfare of the people is their most paramount duty. I thank you all for your attention and pray that those that will benefit today will get the blessings of Allah. Those of us that have contributed will also receive the blessings of Allah. Those of us that have not contributed, we pray that by next year we'll be able to do far more than what we are doing today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We are inviting Mrs. Fasasi Latifat. Okay, what's it called? Alaja, yes, you claim it. Alaja Fasasi Latifat Ninola and invite Alaji.
On behalf of the Zakat, the champion Zakat the companion Zakat, I want to present you the Usrah membership.
On behalf of the companion, I hereby present this equipment as Zakat distribution to you. I pray that Almighty Allah will guide you in the use and it will multiply in manifold. Inshallah. I invite next. I shall invite Sheikh Usman to present on behalf of the Chief Imam of Lagos to the recipient. Okay, another industrial. Yeah, okay.
Zakat Foundation. I present this special
machine to you. God bless you. And bless the machine. And bless the endeavor you undertake. So, by the grace of Almighty Allah, shall be that Zakat exhortation.
Okay, Alaja no, the Kudrat. Johnny Ali.
On behalf of the companion Zakat, I present you this. Congratulations.
I invite Alaja Suleiman from Form 1, Alaja Kaka from Form 1, who and me, she's here. Representative, yes, she's here. Yes, now invite for submission. Alaja Sidika Adenishi. Amira from 1 Lagos, Dr. Halima Iberumbeni, and giving Sidikat Adenishi. Alaja Sidika Adenishi, yes. Abdulkarim Idris. Chairman of the occasion, other members of the high table, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, I never knew I was going to come here, but waking up this morning, I decided I should come here soon. In fact, the letter, somebody gave it to me at the gate. That's to tell you how important this event is for our Excellency. And coming here, I've learned so much for the past 1 hour that I've been here. I've learned the importance of Zakat, how important it is for all of us to practice it. And I want to enjoy every one of us to try as much as possible to participate in doing this. And I want to thank the organizers of this event, because most of the time, what we hear most of the time is the Christians talking about the 10%. It is even trending on the internet these days. Every day, people are talking about the fact that so people are they are collecting so much money, buying private jets, things like that. But seeing what is happening here this morning, I think that this is what should be encouraged by every one of us. And
When I get back to the office, we are going to see how we can contribute to this very good cause. Thank you very much.
Ètò kan ní sí ibi pé a pe ìmọ̀ọ́mù àgbà fún gbogbo ìlú Èkó. Ìgbà tí àlùfáà wa tí wọ́n ń ṣe wáàsí fún wa lénìí, wọ́n rán wa létí bí Ọlọ́run ti gbé húsùmí àmúwálé Sadaqatan wa tutahhiruhum wa tuzakkihim biha. Ọlọ́run wá sọ ṣẹ́ tá a máa bẹ bàbá sí pé wa salli alayhim inna salataka sakanun lahum. Ẹ bá gba zaka wa salli alayhim. Ẹ ṣàdúrà fáwọn tí wọ́n san zaka náà. Iṣẹ́ tí a fẹ́ kẹ́ bá a ṣe bàbá ìgbà wá yànjú láàrin ìṣẹ́jú kan. Ẹ wá bá a ṣàdúrà fáwọn tó san zaka yìí. Àwọn tó wà ń bí, àwọn tí wọn ò sí ń bí, àtàwọn tó wù láti san tí condition wò gbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Sheikh Abdul Latif Usman falyatafaddal mashkura.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
There is a special message from the Chief Imam that is sent forward to the companion. But before I go further on that one, I was from the lecture I had from my able gentleman and enlightenment that he gave on Zakat. I was forced to go and look at the meaning of the companion. Then I see the association of Muslim men in business and professions. I so appreciate it. And it goes along with the message of the Chief Imam. He sent his message that he appreciated all your endeavor. And he so willingly appealing to God to give you more strength, support and assistance, as he has promised in the Sadakah that he will lead the mu'minun and the mu'minat towards the path of Al-Jannah. That is A'udhu-billahi minash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Idkhila lil-mu'minuna wal-mu'minati jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anhar khalidina fiha wa yukaffiru sayyi'atihim wa kana dhalika 'inda Allahi fawzan 'azima. He said his message to you is that promise of Almighty Allah, that he will lead you and guide you and bless those who have given this zakat and those who have received it and those who are coordinating this organization to Jannatul Firdaus. And with this message, I think he has encompassed every message and blessings that he may wish for you. May God bless you, guide you, and bless you all in your endeavor. This organization will never perish. This organization will continue to thrive, and the message will get across all over the nation world, most especially in Nigeria, because what we experience in Lagos is that people say they pay zakat and what they bring is just like Sadakah. They don't bother to know the details, and even if they know, they don't want to give. So your message, your effort, your endeavor and undertaking will be blessed by God, and by the special praise of Almighty Allah. This organization will be able to spread the message across, and those who accept it will accept it sincerely. And may God bless those who have donated, and those who are taking the zakat, and those who are organizing this company. May God bless you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim. Amin. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.
Elijah Okafir, Lai Baba, who is the secretary of Zakat Fund, will do the vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah.
Back to
give all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us today. This is something that's been in the plan for quite some time. For Allah to aspire all our lives to witness this occasion. It thank Almighty Allah. We can't thank Him enough. And in fact, when we consider Allah's special favor for making us Muslim, that's the best of favor anybody can get. But it is Islam that has brought all of us together today. It's also one of the 5 pillars of Islam that we are actually demonstrating, which is the issue of Zakat, collection, and distribution. So we thank Almighty Allah for giving us the grace to be here today. On behalf of the Zakat Companion Zakat Fund, we want to thank our special guest of honor, okay, which is represented by Alhaji Dawah, representing his Deputy Governor, Dr. Idiat Adebule. We want to thank you for sparing time to come to this occasion today. We also want to thank all the imams that are representing our guest speaker, which is Alhaji Imam. Oh, sorry. The Chief Imam of Lagos State, the Sulaiman Nohana. Okay, we thank all of you for coming together to represent him and progressing to this occasion. We also want to thank Alhaji, our own By Imam Nojeem Jimoh, for giving us this special diet that touched all our hearts on what we need to do as far as living up to our expectation when it comes to Zakat collection as well as Zakat donation. We know we are all falling short of our expectation, and basically we need to do more, because as far as this Zakat is concerned, we are actually punching below our weight when it comes to the collection as far as company is concerned. I want to join everybody to try as much as possible to bring out funds from our pocket so that we can pull out more resources. A lot of people are out there that are actually, they are qualified to get this, fund. But because of the cost of funds, we cannot touch everybody. I want to appeal to all of us. Let's come together. Let's support this fund so that we can actually do more. No doubt about it. Some of us are actually doing this thing on individual basis, but it's not enough. What we want to do is to create an institution that will active all of us, rather than just donating, from our Zakat funds. Probably it's 200,000. You distribute about 10-15 people. It might not be weighty enough. By the time we pull everything together, it becomes something that is weighty, something that we can then touch, use to touch people's life. We can use to empower, our members, people that are outside companion food. So let's try as possible to create an institution that will active of all of us that can be sustainable. That's the essence of these funds, and we all need to come together to do it. So once again, I want to thank all the people that have contributed, for this funds. I want to pray to Almighty Allah to continue to bless us, and for those of us that will not be contributing, let's try as much as possible to also put something together into this fund. Again, for those of us that we have people in mind that, okay, from our Zakat funds, we want to basically donate to people, just like we've been told. We could nominate people to this particular fund, and then whatever it is that you want us to give to them, the funds, that is companion funds, can then basically disburse the money to those people. At the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to grow the fund, and basically it's going to make Islam much more veritable and going to make it something that will touch people. So once again, I want to thank all of you for coming together. I want to thank all the people that are also beneficial, that are also benefiting from the funds today. We pray that Almighty Allah will empower in such a way that in subsequent year, you too will be sufficiently empowered to qualify to pay Zakat, so that you will also give back, and by so doing, we can continue to reduce the extent of poverty within our home. So once again, we want to thank everybody for coming together. We pray that Almighty Allah will spare our lives. Almighty Allah will continue to bless us, will continue to replenish us, and at the end of the day, we all have cause to meet it in the place that will be much more rewarding for us in this world and after. So I will become representing the person.
Who is it that would like to contribute to this year's Zakat fund? Okay, if you want to do so, can we say Allahumma salli? Allahumma salli. Ala Muhammadin. Wa sallim.
So, inshallah, the distribution of zakat will continue after the salah downstairs. Is it downstairs? Is it upstairs again? Okay, for the people, Salam alaikum, let us finish now. For the people that are collecting zakat, please, beneficiaries, please come back upstairs after the salah. Those that have not been given, they will give everybody. So for the rest of us, we can go. Once again, we apologize that we cannot take. Okay. Once again, we apologize that we cannot take questions today because of the two programs. Then, as a something that impressed us while we are talking about due. A member here just paid his own due for 2 years. So that is to show that, and another paid yesterday, and some are paid in between the time we had our conference and now. So we thank members for this kind of response, and we hope it will continue. We had this response when the regime of Imam Nojeem Jimoh started. We had about 81% of our members. That's what we are talking. We won't mention it. We have about 81% success rate of union of our dues, and we dropped now to about 30%. So we want this one that we are witnessing to continue. Don't start us on a high note and finish on a low note. May Allah continue to be with all of us. For the people that have bashed me left, right, please wait for closing dua. Oh, sisters, for people that have bashed me left, right, and center, I'm displaying the way Umar displayed when he became a leader. He became softer. So don't worry, I'll try to emulate Umar to the last. So inshallah, one of the imam present will give us closing dua. Allah, Ustaz.
We thank Almighty Allah for bringing us to the end of this program. As we head into our various destinations, the Almighty Allah be our protector. Also, that which is the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
اللهم أحسن وقوفنا بين يديك. اللهم لا تخزنا يوم العرض عليك. اللهم تقبل صلاتنا. اللهم تقبل صيامنا. اللهم تقبل قيامنا. اللهم تقبل ركوعنا. اللهم تقبل سجودنا. اللهم اجعلنا من عتقاء شهر رمضان. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من خزي النار. اللهم أجرنا من كل عمل يقربنا إلى النار. اللهم أدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار. اللهم اجعلنا يا مولانا في شهرنا هذا وفي يومنا هذا وفي ليلتنا هذه منه تقائك من النار واجعلنا من المقبولين الفائزين.